certain moment in time when you were launching your solo career, and in 1991, Newport Centre, Paul Weller Movement, sparsely populated gig.
It was, yeah.
I think Steve White on a documentary on Channel 4 last year said one of the better ones, and I think it was talking about that you struggled at the time to re-establish yourself.
Yeah.
I was at that gig that night. At that time, did you ever think,
yeah,
is it work? You know, what were you have so many self-doubts at the time?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought, well, it was like starting again, you know, and I mean, prior to that sort of time you're talking about a year before that, I just thought I've done all this work, sold all these records, played to all these people, and I've kind of washed up here, and I've got to start again and start from the ground up again. It was almost like that anyway. And there's a few diehards there, bless their hearts, who came along on those around that time on those tours. But it was tough, yeah. But I think looking on the positive side, it was a good lesson to learn in life, and I think that you're only as good as your last record, and you're only as good as the last gig you played. You know.
Yeah. Can I ask you about you got the CD DVD out?
Oh no, Find the Torch. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
There's a couple of tracks with Cardiff Jones on there at the Albert Hall.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about, because obviously Welsh people and stuff, a little bit about...
No, I didn't realise he was Welsh, is he?
Did you?
Told me, no. Yeah, well, he's a mate, you know. I mean, we've known each other quite a few years now, and we've worked together on and off different times, and he's been on one of my records. We did a track together on an album a few years ago, and we played quite a few gigs here and there together. Yeah. And I think he's one of the best sort of vocalists to come out of this country, out of Wales, and out of our isles. But he's a great lad, you know. He's a good mate, and you know, we always like working together. I mean, he only came down to come see the gig that night, but we just dragged him up, you know.
I did an interview with Billy Bragg the other day, and he's still on it, he's still doing it, and I said, so you getting Red Wedge back together, number 2?
Not with me, mate, no.
Have you lost that interest at all in politics now?
Yeah, it balls the pants off me, man, and you know, really, I mean, with that experience with Red Wedge, you know, meeting a lot of the politicians, pretty much all of them, I have to say, really, they kind of put me off all of it, really. I've never met such a bunch of careerists and egotistical monsters in my life, really. I mean, forget about. I mean, all the bands are on the tour bus. You know, there was never any of that on the bus. Everyone was there for the right reasons. But meeting these people when we turned up at gigs, it's like, my God, you know, they're the people who go on to govern us.
The Jam for me flipped a switch musically and politically at the time, and you know, you obviously mean an awful lot to an awful lot of people. I'm sure you hear it a lot as well from.
Yeah, I never get tired of hearing it though. But yeah,
do you know what I mean, though? And I just wondered, what is it like, you know, having that sort of people who hold you up as an icon, as a mod god, all those sort of things. How do you keep it in perspective?
Well, I mean, I don't sort of sit around and think about those things. I don't think about myself in those terms. There's loads of people I've met over the course of time that have always told me tales of when they were, you know, 12, 13 or whatever, come and see the Jam, and meet us backstage or outside the gig or talking to me old man and all, you know, just little stories, and I'm all kind of touched by that, really, you know, and just how much it meant to people and meant to people's lives. I mean, I think it's a brilliant thing, really. It doesn't swell me head. It just makes me feel privileged and proud to be part of this thing, you know.
There's a sense of community there at all these sort of shows, and not just the Jam stuff, you know, everything that you've done over your career seems to be really well received now. Do you think of your legacy? What are you going to, you know...
Well, I'm glad to sort of think I've left something in the world, you know what I mean? It's without in any way trying to be morbid, but I mean, life is very short. And I like to think I leave some body of work in the world and something, you know, that maybe will inspire other musicians even after I've gone, you know. It's not important for you to know my name, nor I to know yours.
Can I ask you about re-release sound effects, which is a lovely package, but I was listening to Primal Scream play the Screaming Delegate all the way through last night, and I just wondered if there was anything that had crossed your mind to play any of your albums through in full at any gigs, or if that's something that you'd like to do.
Well, I was talking about doing it some years ago, which I never got around to doing, but now it's become such a sort of fashionable thing. It seems to be a kind of and anything to do, which kind of puts me off it really.
So
I kind of missed the boat. So I wait till it sort of dies down and people got fed up with it, and then maybe I'll do it then.
Talking about the jam songs, how long did it take you before you were like comfortable playing them again? Because I think I read you saw them as a millstone.
Well, I mean, it was with the Style Council. I mean, I didn't play any jam songs then because I was really wanted to kind of get right away from that and just wanted to, you know, to make this new band to kind of at the forefront. And then after the Style Council split, and then those years you were talking about earlier on, when I was kind of just starting to get going again. I mean, I started to play a few jam songs then, but that's because I didn't have any other songs to play anyway. But I think for me when I did the acoustic tour, so I did a solo acoustic tour back in whenever it was 10 years ago probably, and I started to play all my songs, you know, different songs from all different eras, and they were just all stripped down and just me on guitar without any kind of sort of stylings at all. And I just started to see that look, this is my body of work, you know, regardless of whether whether people kind of picture those songs in their minds, but these are all my songs, and I think I felt so it made me feel more comfortable with it all.
Yeah. 2010's been like an incredible year for you. I mean, do you sit back and think, where did it all go right?
I've got a kind of different perspective on it really, because I look at everything as a whole. You know, I look at my family life, my love life. You know, it's not. I don't just base it on my work, I suppose. It was kind of everything. But it has been a good year, and I suppose the biggest highlight was that fact that people really liked the records, you know. It was kind of, you know, we thought we were kind of taking a bit of a chance, you know, it's kind of like sonically it's kind of quite out there. But generally speaking, people seem to have really liked it and received it, and got great reviews for whatever they're worth, you know, and all that stuff.
Do you think like the Mercury's opened you up to a new audience? You know, you're shortlisted with a certain number of bands, if you like, hipcore, who got that sort of kudos at the time, or
maybe, hopefully, yeah. I don't know. I don't think about it really, but I haven't thought of it. But I mean, hopefully, it will do.
I want to ask you, when you're at home, you slob around with your elasticated waistband in your hand and then with your remote control in the other hand, or you always looking sharp?
I don't really do that. I don't really put my hand down my trousers with a remote control, but you know, I don't sit there in a three-piece suit neither, you know what I mean? And I certainly don't go down the shops in my trackie. That's not on, man.